Hello, my noble band of outlaws. Outlaw Samurai coming at you live with a video. Drinking some brisk raspberry tea from Speedway. This is going to be the first Blade review of 2021. And that is of this. The Landscaper Select 18-inch soft gripped machete. Featuring a sharp edge, ergonomic grip, heat-treated high-carbon steel blade, almost said stainless, fully polished, complete with protective heavy-duty nylon sheath and belt loop, guarded ergonomic rubber handle offers sturdy and comfortable grip. What they mean by that is, unlike a lot of other machetes on the market, this thing actually has a cross guard and an eagle head-like pommel, the end part. So without further do's and don'ts, let's take a look at the grip first. As I mentioned before, this has like an eagle head shaped pommel, which provides a good place for your hand to rest. The grip has the Landscaper Select logo in bright yellow right there in the center. The grip's rubber scales are screwed on with an integral to the grip crossguard. Next, the blade. When I saw this at Kleindorfer's, if any of you are, if any of my subscribers out there, if you're a noble outlaw that lives in Indiana, in or around Monroe County, you'll know where Kleindorfer's is. But if you don't, it's in Bloomington, Monroe County, Indiana. And it's not safe to let me in Kleindorfer's because I'll probably buy out most of their garden implements and turn them into weapons. But still, this is a very nicely shaped blade. I saw this, I had the money to buy it, I wanted it, thought it looked cool, so I bought it. And despite what it appears, this blade does not have a recurve shape to it. It simply starts out relatively narrow and then widens up towards the tip. Now, you might be wondering what I mean by a recurve blade. And the name gets its meaning from very much like a recurve bow. This is just a little holder that I'm using to hold this thing. But what a recurve blade is a blade that has a recurve-like geometry, where it starts like this, goes into a hump, comes back down, and swoops up into a tip. And it may look like this thing has said recurve tip, like I said, like right in this area is where you would think the recurve would begin, but it actually does not have one. So you can see no recurve in the blade. The blade is the same thickness all the way down. It does not have a disfill taper, which means it starts out thick and gets thin. This thing says on the package that it's supposed to be sharp. And from what I can tell, it's about as sharp as you'd expect a new blade to be. Put it to the cut test. All right. Well, it cut paper. So it's definitely got a nice blade. It's definitely got a nice edge. Now, if you listen closely, it kind of does make that sword swoosh ringing sound that a lot Kenjutsu practitioners like to hear. If you hear a very sharp, crisp sound as you're cutting through the air, that's the air moving over the blade. And if you hear a very sharp, crisp, like sound, then you have good edge alignment and it's going to be a good cut. Now, the things I like about this and the things I don't like. One, it's got a really nice looking blade. I like that. I like the design of it. It's cool. The grip is secure, but a little bulky for my liking. I prefer a more slender grip, like from my Gerber machete that I bought from Menards last year. So you can see, comparing the two grips side by side, this one is a little more narrow and a little more, I want to say, ergonomic than this one, which is a little more blocky. But in any case, I do actually like this grip. It's just a slight bit too blocky for my liking. Now, I will be doing a follow-up video where I cut bottles with this thing. See how well that goes. And I don't know if you've all been wondering this or not, but you've seen like Sculla Gladiatoria or more Scalagrim. Sculla Gladiatoria really only cuts bottles. If he does any kind of cutting at all, that's what I've gathered. But Scalagrim, he chops on wood and shit. And you might be wondering, Outlaw Samurai, why don't you cut wood on your channel? Two reasons. A, is the setup to do that would be a little too complex for what I have available now. I would need at least a second cameraman, me to do the cutting shit and the cameraman to film. But one of the reasons I don't cut wood with blades on my channel is I just don't have time. And it requires a lot of setup, advance. I'd have to buy 2x4s for the sole purpose of cutting, and I really don't want to do that. I don't really have a lot of woods in my backyard that I can cut on, mostly just a few tree branches. But nevertheless, if you want, maybe later on down the line, I'll get some scrap 2x4s and see if I can cleave through them or something. Comment down below. But I will be doing bottle cutting with this once the weather turns a little more forgiving. Because it's winter right now, it's cold outside, and I don't really have... Well, I have bottles to cut. I just don't have the ability to cut them because all my filming equipment is rather weather sensitive, considering that I film with my phone. But if you were to go to Kleindorfer's, this machete would cost about $12. It was $11.99. That's plus tax, the $12 thing. And from what I can tell, it's going to be a good cutting blade. And it's got a nice, crisp bell sound. When you hear that coming from a blade, you know this thing is well made. A good crisp bell sound, according to my knowledge, means of a well-crafted blade. When they're this size, I don't know if you can get that from knives or not, but when they're this size and you hear that crisp bell sound, it means it's a relatively good blade. Now, before I cut this video short, let's see if this thing passes the thumbnail test. Not really. It did not pass the thumbnail test. And what the thumbnail test is, when you lay the blade down on your thumb and you push forward, if it just slides off your thumbnail, it's not sharp. But if it actually catches and digs in a little bit, then it's sharp. But that's really all I wanted to say for this. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could do 2 hands, but this would be more like this. So it's really only a hand. It's only a really one-handed weapon. But I am actually very excited to see how well this performs on on bottles and such. And maybe when it gets warmer, I'll do some wood cutting and shit on this channel. I don't know. But I will be getting another sword by next winter. Or should I say this following winter. I will be getting another sword for the collection. I will review it for you guys. You'll see the unboxing. And I will get better at doing these reviews. So, comment down below. I want to read your comments. I want to hear your comments. I finally figured out how the hell to unblock the comment section. So please comment down below what you want to see this thing cut through. And if it is a relatively affordable target, I will cut through it. Like, say you want me to cut through a watermelon, I'll cut through a watermelon. Say you want me to cut through an apple, I'll cut some apples. Or hell, if you want me to cut kielbasa sausages, I'll cut kielbasa sausages. Chop, 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 done. Boom. But, in any case, this is probably the stupidest idea I've had in a while, but yeesh. I missed. No damage to the blade. That's good. I tried to do the ADHD world, flip the weapon, catch it. I'm not doing that. Don't, even if you comment, do the HD world thing where I flip this thing, catch, and chuck it. I'm not doing that. Because I do not have the skill or the experience. I could probably do that with a two-handed sword, considering there's a lot more length for me to catch, but I'm not doing that. So, my phone's about to reach the end of its video recording length, so until next time, my noble band of outlaws, Outlaw Samurai tells all y'all, be crazy rednecks, be safe and use your weapons. I'm out. Peace.